I'm Jamie DiGrazia. I'm here with our model Bex. Hello. Hi, Bex. Yeah. So what we want to do today is set you guys up with two of my favorite products from 1919, which is thickening styling cream and the matte control cream. Let me show you these babies right here. I already used the thickening styling cream in Bex's hair. I put some through and I blew dry Bex into shape to smooth their hair out. The thickening styling cream, the reason I like it is because it takes that like puffiness out of the hair. So it's set me up for my cut. But for you guys watching and hanging out, we can give you an hour, a CE hour, 1 hour for hanging today. So in order to get that, there's instructions inside that chat box. And we want you to win a magic clip and a detailer. So in order to try and win a magic clip and a detailer, it's real easy. You just have to screenshot Bex and I here in our 1919. Get a little screen grab, and Texas is in the house. They're looking for hours. So right now we're just offering these hours to Illinois, but Texas, we'll be trying to do something good for you guys too. Maybe you can win this magic clip, huh? So in order to get your hands on a magic clip and a detailer, all you got to do is tag myself and Booksy and share it to your stories, and we'll be picking a winner sometime today. We're going to send out a couple duos, and we're also going to send out a magic clip and a detailer LI. So what I wanted to share with you guys today, really the most important thing to me, is that you guys feel set up and secure during Small Business Week and during the rest of the year and into 2021. I know this has been kind of a crazy year. I'm going to grab my magic clip and a number 2, and I'm going to start taking Bex's hair down to a 2 all over. So we know that we have a lot of opportunity, with Booksy. We really want to make sure that in January, can you guys hear me okay? Let me know. Is my sound back on and good, Jose? Sounds good. Awesome. Thanks, Nicole. So you guys, we have had a pretty crazy year, and we want to be real honest in saying that we have to take control of our businesses, and even though we could get shut down and do all these things, we still need to be doing a few things that we can do. It's the only things that we could do in our industry is cut more hair. Like, how are we going to generate revenue? There's only a few ways. We could do 25 haircuts a day, or we could do 5 and sell 20 shampoos or stylers, right? So what I like about, having the opportunity of having someone in your chair, you shampoo your hair, right? Yeah. Yes. Some people don't. Some people only condition or co-wash, right? No matter who is sitting in your hair, they're using some kind of product in their hair, and chances are they're either buying it from me or, I don't know, somewhere else, but they're buying it. And I know that since we've been back to work, our salon guests and shop guests, they want to support us. So our retail sales have gone up quite a bit, which has been really nice because it's a great way to generate income for us, We can't do more haircuts, and right now we're limited on the amount of haircuts that we could even do, right? So being able to prescribe, Bex, I'm going to have you participate and go ahead and take that off and hold it to the side of your face for me. Perfect, thank you. So for retailing, what we want to do is be able to prescribe our guests the right or, you know, there's more than one right product. There could be several products that they all do different things. I always like to offer two different kinds, a shiny product and a matte product. That way they could get two different looks out of their haircut, you know? So I might say, yes, get some pomade and then get some matte control cream. That way that your guests can have different finishes and different looks. The money that comes in from these retail sales, I mean, it's literally paying for, you know, our being able to have the retail on the shelf, be able to, you know, pay the salon's rent. And, you know, even if you're doing enough haircuts, like that could just be extra money in your pocket for Christmas presents, or, you know, everyone is able to make a little bit extra income right now through retail sales. And that's like one of the key factors of what we can control in our business, right? Like we can sell retail, we can sell services. Switch for me. Thanks, Bex. You're good at this. And that's it. You know, we could cut hair and then we can sell hair care, basically. So the best thing to do, I would say, is to communicate with your guests and teach them how to use things. Find out what it is they're looking for, and then make a suggestion. You know, like, oh, if you want this look, this product's going to get you there. The best thing you can do is just share what you know with them, and chances are they're going to want to take your suggestion home with them. And it really will help us all make a little bit more money, you know? Our guests want to support us. They're like our biggest fans, especially right now in this climate. So what's cool about 1919 is that you can go to wahlpro.com and literally, there's no middle person. Like, we're a retail partner with them, Logan Parlor, the shop. So I literally go on wahlpro.com, place my order, and then it shows up in like 3 days. So I'm just looking at the comments. I'm switching out my 2 to a 1. So being able, hi Jose.
Quick question. I have a question on your clipper cutting there. When you're clearing the number 2, what are you using as the guide to like how high you work up? Like, are you using the widest point of the head? Like, what's your reference to like glide off the head?
Yeah, great question. A great question. So I put on the number 2, and what I did was allowed Bex's head to push the clipper off. So if you can see, maybe this will be a better visual, where Bex's head changes direction, here and here, the clipper comes right off of the head. So I'm using Bex's head shape to let the clipper push away. So right where there's like a major change in direction, you'll be able to see it here from the back really easy too. So here's our line of where we stopped. You can see right where that line stops, the comb leaves the head. So there's a change in direction right where this stop is, this transition line. So right where that was is where, if I had a number 2, you can literally like close your eyes and let Bex's head push the clipper away. So right where that change in direction is where I begin the flick of the wrist. So when you're removing a lot of hair, that's a great question, Jose, thank you. When you're removing a lot of hair with the clippers, we're gonna use kind of like a hinge. It would be more of a elbow shoulder hinge. And then when you're getting into tight little areas and you start your blend, it's gonna be more of like the flick of the wrist. So removing a lot of hair and then removing a little bit of hair. So right now we have a 2. We went all the way around and allowed the major change in direction to push the clipper off. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna work my way down. So I'm gonna go from a 2 all the way to a 0. And you can see it with Bex's hair. Bex, I'm gonna turn your head. They have a nice whirl or colic in the crown. That was a little inside joke for my team there. So the whirl, swirl, colic, whatever you guys want to call it, there's a pretty significant Bex. Yes, thank you. Oh, that's really clear. We have tons of length here, and then we have this shorter colicky area. So what we want to do is connect those for Bex. There's a lot of disconnection happening, and what we're going to do is tie them all together. So technically, that's what we're going to look for at the end of the day, is just keeping this length on top and giving them a nice, like a low fade or a high taper. So I'm going to switch over to my one guard, and I'm going to close it so my lever is up, and I'm going to do the same thing all the way around the head. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this almost like a clock. So in each section, I'm going to stay in my section until it's clean. So instead of just going vertically, I'm also going to go diagonally in both directions. So it would be like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 11, 10, 9. So vertical, diagonal, horizontal. So I'm going to work that clipper all the way around, section by section, until I feel like I have a nice, smooth removal of hair. Okay. And then in between the 2 and the 1, I'm going to use my 1.5 and go in and blend the same way. Instead of bigger strokes where I'm using my whole arm to go 12, 1, 2, I'll go in with my 1.5 and do the same thing, same method in a tinier area. So going forward, I take my 1 and I'm going to go all the way around the clock here. And really just, I want to give Bex that like clean look that they like. And flipping my clippers over to get those crazy neck hairs that grow in all different directions. Pretty helpful. So you guys, tell me about where you're from and what I can help you with as far as clipper cutting goes. If there's any specifics, I would love to address them. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep working and talking about what I'm doing. The end result, we just want to see a nice clean cut, and I want to connect a lot of these longer lengths on top to the shorter lengths that are on the side.
About clipper preference.
Can you take down your mask for me on one side? Perfect, thanks. Preference of clippers to use for bulk removal as opposed to actually fading. Yes, great question. So it depends on the hair type and texture, but usually what I would do is use something, we have the Mentor, using a clipper that has a stronger kind of motor, and to really take, when you say bulk as a barber, you're talking about length, and then when you say bulk as a Cosmo, typically we mean like weight, so bulk removal to cosmetologists might mean cutting in positive and negative space into the hair strand, and then removing bulk to a barber might be like taking off all the length. So for taking off all the length, we could use a clipper that is stronger, especially if you're trying to get through dense, coarse, darker kind of hair types. Because it's like faster, you'll just remove the length and then you can get something cordless and like a little less intense to do your detail and your fading work. That's a great question. So for today, we're just using the magic clip all the way around because Bex's hair is like pretty medium in texture, and we want to give one of these bad boys away to you guys. So showing you that it can be for complete bulk removal or just for blending and fading. So today we're using the magic clip, especially for you, so you guys could try to win it, right? So my goal for Bex today is just to clean them up and make sure they look nice and sharp, and really trying to get those lengths to blend into each other, because there's a lot of disconnection in that haircut right now, and we want to make sure that we're getting a bit more of a blend. So far I did a 2 into a 1. My 1 was closed. Instead of opening my 1, I'm just going to grab my 1.5 guard, which you have to purchase separately, which is the best like $1.50 investment I've ever made in my fading career, because when you have a 1 guard on there and you open it up, you get like a 1.5. But if you take a 1.5 and you open it up, you get like that sweet spot that's between the 1.5 and 2. So like maybe it's like 1.75. I don't really know what technically it would be, but it's like a millimeter of hair that helps get like that perfect blend. So if you can in your arsenal, get these premium clips. If you go to wahlpro.com, you can get them. They have the metal attachment, you know, so you don't have to like keep your finger there and hope that they don't fall off. They're very, you know what I'm talking about? They're very secure. Bex also does hair, so they're over here laughing at me. So the 1.5, and then there's also a half guard. So if you take off your clipper, people will call that 0, and then open it up, and then it would be half. And then half closed would be like 0.25. So if you close your clipper and you put on the half guard and then you open it up, now you've got like a half plus a little tiny bit more, and it's really going to help you with the blend. Yeah, Jose, you don't like holding the finger. You can put your finger there for like security, but these cool clips, I've never had an issue with them. Just don't leave anything floating in your barber side. Just give them a little spray and let them sanitize. If you leave them like floating in your barber side for long, those plastic clips, I don't know if that's a good idea. I haven't had any good results with that. So, but make sure the Clinic Clip, if you can get your hands on some Clinic Clip, that's this sanitizer from Wahl. It works in 2 minutes, which is awesome. Let me hold that still. So you could get this on the Wahl Pro website as well. As becoming a partner in profit with us allows you to buy direct from Wahl. So there's no middle person. So to get your hands on 1919, all you have to do is go to wahlpro.com and become a partner. There's like a little, you got to put in your license and apply. It's really simple. And then you'll get the wholesale discount. So I have my 1.5 back on, and I'm going to go in and do that same movement right where the 2 and the 1 meet. I like to call it that, like around the clock. You can actually hear with a magic clip. You can hear, I'm going to close it down a little bit. You can hear it blending. How you know you're getting like a good fade, which is cool. Let me get those sides, Beth. Can you take that one side down for me? So I'm going to use, I like to cut my way down. So right now I have a 1.5. So I'm going to go ahead and stretch the skin a little bit. I'm going to go in at the temple area with the 1.5. I removed as much as I could already. Now I'm going to drop down to a 1. And I'm going to keep it closed. And I'm just going to taper away that sideburn. I don't want it to have like a point. I don't want it to be a square. I don't want to like line them up. I just want to fade it away naturally. Sound good, Beth? So just a nice fade out. And I like to go from long to short. I know some barbers like to go from short to long. This way I don't put in a hard line and it just naturally fades down. I don't ever feel like I'm working hard to get a line out or to get a blend. I just gradually get lower and lower with my guard. It seems like a safer way to do it instead of putting in a hard line and then trying to blend it out. I never feel like I feel like I don't move my line up higher that way. So it gives me control to know to stay underneath my kind of line of demarcation. So I just work my way down, smaller and smaller, lower and lower. So that was my half guard. I'm going to take my guard off, open it up, stretch that skin, and then slowly close my clipper blade until I taper that sideburn area all the way down. Giving back the nice little taper. So I'm going to grab my dryer. Please check out this Wahl dryer. It's pretty sweet looking, isn't it? Did you see this? Nice lid. Yeah, it's like vintage off from now. I like it. So, you guys, I want to know how your rebook is going on because you know it's December, so this month is like super important to get your app open while you're with your guests and pre-book those January and February appointments. I mean, we want to secure our future here. So you want to give one of those dryers away? I know. I just got one. I was like super, super stoked about it. I'll put in a word and find out, okay? But for today, we're giving away a magic clip and a detailer. So hopefully you guys can win one of those or you'll win the duos of the 1919. And if you're not a winner, you can go on wahlpro.com and become a winner. That's what I do. I go on there and I place my order once a week. And they send it directly to the shop, which is cool. So pre-book, guys. We want to make sure that when we're with our guests, we're doing what I like to call like the 4 R's. Rebook, retail, referral. What's the other R? Rebook, retail, referral. There's another one. I don't know what it is. I think it's the request. Yeah, we always want to be asking. Oh, and now reviews. We can throw reviews in there too. Like, hey, Bex, when we're done today, would you mind going on Google and leaving a review about your visit? Solid. Yeah, so it'd be really awesome. It's just going to help us out. We just want to continue to take control of our business. And those are those R words, those retail, referral, rebook, like that's our security. That's our future. That's the way we're able to make money in our industry. And I think the more we talk about it and make it and normalize it, the more successful we'll be together. So what there's someone at the shop door. We're actually closed today doing the live. So what we're gonna do now is do the exact same thing on the other side. So we tapered Beth out real nice on one side, and what we're gonna do is do the exact same thing on the other side. So I'm gonna start with my 1.5. Thanks, Bex. Good job. So Bex, when do you want to come back? When do I want to come back and do my hair again? Yeah, I can't wait for our next visit. See what I did there? Every day. Every day. I know. Don't you just wish? You know, I'm available for that. But for your barber budget, what are you used to? Like every 4 or 6 weeks, 5 weeks? What do you like?
When it's not a pandemic, about every 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks.
Cool. So 6 weeks from now is going to put us pretty much after the holiday. Do you think maybe you want to come in one more time before the holiday and the new year to get cleaned up before all that, or would you like to go a week after the holiday?
Probably do it after the holidays. Holidays get pretty busy.
Okay, cool. So yeah, before you go, we should secure your appointment.
For sure.
So what does that look like? Is like, what you want to do is talk about like what day of the week, what time is going to work best for them. You know, you want to take control of it. I know it's easy to be like, sure, go on the app, book online, schedule your own thing, but the more we can influence and take control of our schedule, the more guaranteed our future schedule can be. So this is a 1. I'm just going to work my way back down, just like we did on the other side. And then retailing too, man, like there's so much revenue that we can generate by just making suggestions. We're using all of these products on people every day. Like we're shampooing them or conditioning them. By the time Bex leaves, I would have used, let's see, shampoo, conditioner, we blew dry in a product, and then I'm going to finish with one with 4 different products. So just me sharing with Bex about them, chances are, you know, they might want to make a purchase. And why not let Bex have the opportunity to support our business by making that purchase with us? You know, like it really does help, and it helps the stylist. So not only does it help the salon keep, you know, alive and being able to generate income to pay all the bills for the shop, but it's also putting money directly into the stylist and the hair artist pocket, you know? Because what we want to do is be able to know that, you know, our future is bright with financially, you know, and making commission on some product sales is a really great way to do that. I know people get a little scared, like I'm not a salesperson, but you know what? I hate to break it to you, but you kind of need to be. You need to be an artist, an architect, a therapist, and also a salesperson, because we do. We want to sell our skills, we want to sell our talent, and we want to sell you the shampoo. Because the worst thing is that you don't sell someone shampoo or teach them about the best shampoo that you can offer them, is that they go wandering the aisles and pick some shampoo that isn't for their hair type. You know, you get that person with like super dense hair that gets a volumizer and wants to know why their hair is so big and puffy. You know what I mean? So we really can take control and help our guests out in that way by prescribing them something that is actually, you know, for their hair type. So I like to think of it as, yeah, prescriptive or prescription cutting, because sure, the haircut can look great, but if you really want to recreate these looks, you know, you do need to have the things I used to create them in the first place, which are typically going to be one of those, if not all 4 of those products. So let me look at you. I'm going to check for balance with the camera. I always like to move the hair out of the way so I can see both sides. Cool. So I'm going to go in with some texturizing shears along the parietal here and blend my short lengths into my long length. And then I'm going to clean up the neckline with that detailer that we're giving away. So I'll start by picking that up. I like to remove, excuse me, my back, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and get a towel in here. This cape's just for you, Bex. So I'm gonna clean up their neck. I really like the detailer. You guys were giving one away. I love it because it has the T-blade and it cuts like super, super close. So like almost, I think it's 0 gaps. There's like literally no hair left, not even stubble. It's super, super smooth, which is real nice. So I'm going to go in and remove some of this unwanted, unnecessary kind of neck hair and get Bex's neck looking super smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and fade away their neckline. So instead of like boxing it or squaring it or pointing it, I'm just kind of fading it away, just like I tapered away those sideburns. So there's no real like start and stop. There's no hard edges. It's all real soft. So I'm going to go ahead under your mask and do the same thing to the sideburn area. And behind the ear, there's still some hair because I picked up my taper from in front of the ear and then picked it back up behind. So this area has a little bit more length. So I'm going to go in with my comb and push this hair down and go in with those T-blades and just shape up behind the ear, making sure that everything looks nice and clean. So if you guys screenshot and grab and follow the directions inside the chat box, you guys could get your hands on one of these detailers and a duo pack of the matte control cream, which is my favorite texturizer for like longer lengths of hair. It moves really good in long lengths of hair. That's why I like it. Meaning like long, short hair. I would even put it in my hair too and kind of scrunch it in and let it air dry because it's very workable. It's a really flexible product that you guys can use on all lengths of hair. Go ahead and take that one down for me, would you? Mm-hmm. Gotta get behind there a little bit better. Thanks, Bex.
No problem.
So I'm just cleaning up in front of and around the ear. What I like to do to get in here is use the T-blade coming up, and then I stop, and then I come from the other side and use the other end. So I'll stop at 12 o'clock, and then I'll come in from 9 and go to 12. What that does is it prevents me from going too far in and then being like, oops, you know, accidentally giving them a graphic that they might not want. Speaking of graphics, do you want like a little, maybe we can do a little design in the nape? Would that be okay? So you guys want to put a little something in the nape there? Let's do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and, what I like to do is do one line and then I like to outline that line to kind of exaggerate it. Or do one line and then work off of that line to create more lines. So I'm gonna grab my barber brush to knock those little hairs out of there. Let me see if I can position you. There we go. Comfortable? Mm-hmm. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and do, I don't know, a little zigzag, see what comes out. What I do is I look in the hair, because it's like wood grain, and try to see what the hair wants to do. So I'll even move the hair around and I'll use my lighting, because sometimes, like, you can see this, even this line and this here, like that could be a cool shape. And it's just from your lighting. So you can find different kind of movements or patterns in the hair from just the light overhead. So like I see another piece of light here. And again, I want to connect this line to another line. And then somehow I want to tie these two together. So I think I'll just go straight across and let them connect kind of out of the photo or out of the frame, meaning they probably connect somewhere over here. So yeah, just like a nice little fun accent to the back. And then I'll also, because their hairline is so like natural, I'll just go along with it, thanks Bex, and try to exaggerate the lines that we created even further. Like so. And that's just a little, you know, extra edge there for Bex for fun. And I would suggest a barber brush, because a lot of people are like, oh, I love the graphics, but they fade out so fast. They fade out pretty quickly, maybe, I would say like 7 to 10 days. But if you have the ability to sell a brush, you'll be able to see your graphics more if you share with your guests that all they have to do is kind of comb their faded hair down, and then those lines will reappear or be at least a little bit more noticeable for a few more days. So I go back and forth with the detailer up and down to kind of thicken up my lines after I draw them in certain areas. Some areas I want them to be really thin, and then sometimes you want them to be a bit wider. So let's just give a little tour. Cool. Well, that's fun. So moving on, I'm going to grab my texturizing shears and blend in that line. I'm excited to cut the top because I want to cut the top using this guy, the Big Mac. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this is called the all-in-one blade. It's actually a texture blade. It's really cool. And there's just like your lever it has 4 stops. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's basically like a pair of shears, like these guys, the chunkers. That's what this guy's gonna do in the razor with the clipper. So that's gonna be fun. First I need to blend. I like to work the bottom up, which is opposite. I think of what a lot of barbers like to do. They like to go top down. I like to go bottom up. To each their own. There's no wrong way. There's just many ways. So I'm gonna go in. Let me see what's the best view for you there. Yep.
Would you mind jumping to the other side for whatever reason when you talk on that side of the client?
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you.
Better? Yeah, thanks. Jose, you're the best, man. You're good at
Thanks.
this. Yeah. You guys, give it up for Jose to make sure that we have a good experience today. Thank you, Jose.
Yeah, great. Thanks.
So I think I'm going to use the white comb so you guys can maybe see a little bit better with Bex's dark hair. So right now I'm just going to do a little scissor over comb because I do actually really like this length, but I just want to blend in from the fade just a tiny bit. So I'm going to go ahead and take I think there's like 32 teeth in this guy, my little blender, and just soften this line of demarcation here. So I'm going to go in, and my comb is going to be my finger angle. So if I was to have long hair and I was going to pull the hair out, and then I wanted it longer, I would bring my fingers towards me, right? So if I had long hair and I wanted to keep length, I would bring my fingers towards me, which also looks like this, right? So because this hair is so short, I can't hold it. So what I'm going to do is just transfer my comb angle becomes my finger angle. So when you can't get your hands in the hair and get a good angle because the hair is too short, you just let your comb be your finger angle. So I'll go in and then I'll pull the top teeth out and keep the bottom spine of the comb in, and then I get a nice short to long effect. So I'm just going to go in, and then I need to elevate. And hey, Cass, do you think you could zoom in with the computer? I'm going to have Cassie pick up the computer for you so you guys can zoom in and get a look-see here. A little bit closer. Jose, is that good? Cool. Thanks, Kath.
No problem.
I'm gonna try to not be in your way, but.
So basically, here is a nice hard horizontal line. If I just hung out here with my teeth towards me, I would create another really hard line. So what I need to do is elevate the hair above 90 degrees. So if I want to cut here, I actually need to cut the hair above. So what I'm going to do is grab the hair that lives here, elevate it, and then cut and work my way out. And that's how I'll be able to get a really nice blend by elevating and cutting and having, there's a lot of movements happening here. You have the comb in, then you're adjusting your length, and then you're elevating, and then you're coming in and cutting, all at the same time. So in slow motion, you're picking the hair up, you're bringing the top of the teeth towards you to create the taper, short to long. And then you need to elevate and then cut all the way out. Is that clear? So in, and it all happens at the same time. So your comb will move slow and your shears will move fast. So you really want to practice getting your shears to move quickly and having the comb move slowly. So we're just going to go around. I'm going to give Bex a turn.
I think you might have to put the computer, you might have to put the computer back down.
Okay.
Just because it's starting to lose the quality. It's getting a little bit fuzzy.
Oh, it gets grainy. Sorry.
Yeah,
guys.
getting grainy, yeah. There.
Perfect. So we're going to do this all the way around the head. So again, if I go on a horizontal line and I just move this up, my horizontal line is just going to, move higher and higher up the head. So what I like to do is go on an angle, turn my teeth towards me, elevate the hair, and then go in. So it all happens in one swoop. So there's several movements happening at one time, and it needs to be fluid. So at first, when you first do it, you'll go in, pull your teeth, elevate, cut, and it'll be really kind of slow because you're going to be thinking about all these movements you're making. And then after you do it a couple times, you get like this rhythm down, and then you get a flow, and then you get a nice blend. So get your hands on a mannequin or friends, family, or they say someone you don't like to practice on. Bex, you're a good model, though. I appreciate you coming in and letting us demo on you.
No problem.
Yeah, thank you. So we're gonna go in just with some texturizing shears. That's why I like cutting short hair so much, is because I get to use all the tools. I get to use clippers, I get to use trimmers, I get to use razors, shears, straight blades, texturizing blades. I get to see my guests every 4 to 6 weeks, which means we really enjoy each other, and which is the coolest part about that is that, your guests will rebook and reschedule and send you referrals, and your guests that you see that often, they want to support us. So we just really need to ask them what we need. Like this week for Small Business Saturday, we put together a little sign that was like, the best way you could support us in the salon is by buying your shampoo from us. Like straight up, like, please purchase your hair care from us. Please purchase gift cards. Please write a review. Please tell your friends. Like, we really have to ask for the things that we need, What do they say? Like the squeaky wheel gets the oil or something like that? You know what I'm saying? But like, and people don't know what they don't know, Our guests probably aren't going to write a review for us unless they're like a crazy Yelp person and write reviews all the time, right? Like, you really got to ask, like, hey, Bex, could you please go ahead and write this nice review for me?
Yeah.
Thank you. It's going to really be great for our business. And like, your guests are totally happy to help you with that, So I just went in and I want to follow Bex's natural kind of hairline, and I don't want to line them up completely. I want it to be a little bit softer. So the only place I'm really gonna take my detailer is right here. You got really nice eyebrows, Bex.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I would just go in and make sure there's nothing like too long, which there isn't. They look great. And I think that's it for this side. Let's see this side. So let's see what's going on underneath all this hair here. I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of the way. Put a little clip in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and soften this extra bit here that was hiding out. Again, with that same texture shear over comb technique to soften that wavy bit. And then I'm gonna go in with my detailers and just follow. They have a nice curved hairline there, so I'm just gonna go with what's already there. I'm not gonna recreate a new one. Bex already said they don't want to come back for 5 weeks, so I'm not gonna like line them up completely because that's more of like a 10-day, 2-week haircut vibe. So I'm gonna just jump behind Bex and look for what I would like to call balance and consistency. So I see a little bit of darkness there. I want to make sure it's not my light.
Jamie, you had a few questions about the connection between the short and the long. Why do you prefer using when do you prefer using the texturizing shears versus clipper over comb in that area and/or scissor over comb in that area?
Awesome, great question. So I might do clipper over comb if their hair was a little bit longer and I wanted a more harder result. Choosing shear over comb, I'm able to get, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, and the reason that I grab it is because I feel like I have a bit more control, because the clipper, it's so fast and takes off a lot of hair, and if I was not doing something very detailed, then I would grab clipper over comb. But to soften and to have more control, I just choose the shear over comb technique. It kind of slows me down and pays a little bit more attention to detail. If I was in more of a hurry, or there's really no wrong way. I prefer texture. Hey, Kathy, can you plug in the computer for me? I prefer using texture shear over comb over straight blade shear over comb because it's a little bit softer of a finish. And I'm always looking, my style is a bit softer versus harder edge looks when it comes to like transitioning. So it's just preference. There's no wrong way, but I feel like a clipper over comb would be to remove a lot more hair a lot faster, and then shear over comb would be like the next fastest, and then texturizing over comb is going to remove less slower, because then you can get a little bit more detail. And sometimes I'll just go right in on the scalp too with the shear and not even use a comb if I can't get to it. Like if my teeth are too big, I can get a little taper comb, or I can just go in and then tilt my my shear angle becomes my comb angle. So I'll just go in with my shears on that same angle and cut. So just, I feel like it gives me a little bit more control, honestly. So Bex has this mohawk section of hair here. I'm gonna pull this clip out, sorry, Bex. You're good. And it is quite long compared to, Bex, trust me, thanks. Compared to this area in their colic. And I already like this area, so sometimes you don't have to cut all the hair. It's what you leave behind that, is more impactful. So I'm gonna grab my big mag and I'm gonna cut the length cut the length with the clippers instead of a shear over comb. So what I need to do is connect the shorter length to the longer length. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab, basically, you can do one of these. I'll have one section, two sections, three sections. So I'm going to move across the head in a diagonal forward sectioning. So I'm going to come up and I'm going to condense cut. So I'm going to, instead of grabbing 6 sections, I'm going to grab 3. What it's going to do is over direct parts of the section and giving me a variation of length, and also allow me to clipper cut a bit faster. So I'm going to set myself up. So here's my short length, here's my long length. I like the long length, so all I'm going to do is get my elbow up. I'm going to turn on my clipper, and then I'm just going to clipper off. I'm going to close my little blades down a little bit here. Cassie, do me a favor. On the back shelf, there's a different blade. So these blades pop off. It's sitting right on the shelf. Can't miss it. In the back where the charger is. So these blades pop right off. This is the texturizing blade. So literally, here, let me show you. Do you not see it? Oh, that's okay. So anyway, there'll be a straight blade that is an attachment for this. So it's for ease of use cutting. What I'll do is I'll use the detailer, since you guys can win that anyway. And then I'll just texturize with the Big Mag. So basically, I'm gonna grab my hair, I'm gonna come up, I'm gonna lift my elbow so that my haircut goes from short to long, and I'm gonna turn my trim around, and then I'm literally just gonna go in, and you can remove that length from short to long. And what's nice about that, and then is it's super simple. Then I'm gonna grab my Big Mag, open up my blade, so that there's a lot. Basically, you're gonna take this piece of hair like this. It's sitting like this now, like a big chunk. And if I go in with these texturizing shears and cut into the hair, it's gonna open up and cut every other hair strand. So now the hair is gonna get a lot more swing and movement. Okay, so right now there's not a lot of swing and movement. It just looks like it's one kind of heavy piece. So we'll be able to go in. You're gonna go halfway up the hair strand and just release some of that hair. So what it's gonna do is allow Bex's hair to really move. So we're gonna go in again with the detailer, find my guide, cut that hair off. I'm gonna cut all the length first. So I'm moving my way across the head. Thanks, Bex. I got you in some pretty weird positions, so hang in there. Elbow up, fingers pointed down. I got my detailer, and I'm just gonna draw that line and remove that hair at the same time. So I'm gonna go in again. There's my guide. Elbow up, fingers pointed in, and I'm gonna remove that with the detailer. Super easy to kind of cut short to long. And then I'm gonna come in again on the other side. Let's see. Actually, the amount of hair Bex has is pretty amazing. I like the length, and I think at this point I just really need to debulk using the Big Mag. So I'm gonna go in. It's actually really cool. It's gonna be like a surface razor. I'm just gonna go in with these teeth open in a really light hand. I don't want to go in too deep because I'll cut too much hair. Stay on the surface and surface clipper some of this bulk away. So Bex, I'm going to try to get you, like this, and I'm going to gently go in, see if I can give you guys a good visual here, and soften some of this long length. So taking, I can show you this airiness There we go. And try to lift this up in a way that you guys can see. You can go in and cut every other hair strand. You see that falling out. We're just going in a different manner than like just going in with those big chunking shears and removing some of that length. So you can go in, you can surface cut. What's really cool too is you can go in from underneath as well. This is a good move. You could come in this way from underneath and remove a lot of bulk as well. It's a lot of fun techniques that you can use with this clipper, like for debulking all this like really long, dense hair. So let me see you from the front. So this has really good pushback, but there's still like kind of weightiness in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with this debulker in the direction that I'm going to style the hair. So what I like to do is grab some of that thickening styling cream because it's going to give a little bit of slip. This is funny because I already know how to like work and talk in the mirror, but with the camera, it's like back to being backwards. It's super awkward. So we'll go in and I'm going to use this in Bex's hair because I can cut through it, because the clipper is going to be able to get through it, but I'm also going to be able to see the movement of the hair so I know where I want to cut, because this is the end result, right? Just going to be like this push back. They have this really cool little pop of color there in the front that I really like. But I know that I want to soften still the amount of density that's building up in this area. So I'm going to go in with my big mag and clipper over comb. I'm going to come in, comb, 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 clipper, 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 comb, 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 clipper, 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 clipper. So it's really light. Like my hand is very, very light. It's just a surface razor. If I press down further, I could go in deeper, but that's not my intention. That's not the end result I'm looking for. I want it to be soft and light. So you could do this with the clipper, or you can do it with shears. Like I can grab my texturizing shears again, comb all this stuff back into the shape that I would want it to be in, and then by hand, go in and find where I want to see some softness. So there's some pretty good disconnection. So everything in front of the ear, I want to be disconnected just because that's what I feel like I want right now. Doesn't mean it needs to be that way every time. But Bex has a lot of hair, so if they only have to really deal with most of it being in the front, then I think that's going to be good for them, which means that this piece that lines right up with the ear can start to get like a little dense and bulky. So what I'm going to do is go from short to long and scissor over comb just that little bit off, so that way it lays a little bit softer. So through the top, you know, we could use shears, we could use clippers. You just kind of want to go in with whatever you think is going to get the job done. So now I'm over directing the section right in front of the colic because there was that big disconnection there. You could go in and point cut this off. You can go in with your detailer and you can point cut it off with your clippers. You know, it just depends on the end result. This is actually a nice result for like really shattered ends. You can go in with straight blades if you want it to be more precise. Every hair type, you know, is gonna respond differently to the tool that you pick up. So just like your products, you want to figure out your end result and how you can get there, I would say, fastest and with the most polish. So depending on what you're kind of looking for or going for. So that gives you a little bit more of a swoop. Cute, Bex. Do you feel clean?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So Bex, I'm gonna suggest that you use that thickening cream to kind of prep your hair for when you blow dry it. I want to give a little more height to you. Would you like a little bit more height in
I
your
would
hair?
love that.
Yeah, because it's kind of like coming really far over. So in order to give Bex just a little bit more height, what I want to do is take this plane of the head and shorten that up just a smidge. And then we can put some of that matte control cream in there and finish you off. We're going to pre-book your appointment. Don't forget to write that review for me, okay?
I will.
Thanks, Bex. So it's that simple, guys. I'm glad that we were here today hanging out and getting a little bit more comfortable having these conversations about not only styling with our guests, but like how to ask for referrals and be confident in making suggestions for retail purchases. Because these are the revenue streams that we're going to be able to utilize right now to, oh, that's good. There's a little more height for you, Bex. So, yeah,
Jamie, I had a quick question for you regarding retail. What does your like average retail percentage look like in regards to revenue for the shop?
Oh, thanks. Great question. Our goal is always 20%. We only hit that sometimes. We celebrate anything over 10%. Typically, 10% for the stylist or the shop in general, like is totally worth celebrating. So, but I usually go somewhere between 12 and 15% personally, and I'm really happy with that. On 20%, I mean, that's our goal, but really it's a big goal. So I would start with 10%, and once you hit 10%, move to 12, then go to 15. But an RTS of retail to service dollars, RTS, if you guys can just really start paying attention to how much money you actually make from your retail sales. So this is my favorite one. This is the matte control cream. Set yourself some goals. Like look at your day. Say you have, $400 worth of haircut on the books for the day or for the week. Make $40 of that your goal to have in retail sales, and then figure out, how you want to spend it. Whether it's to help pay the bills, your mortgage, your rent, or taking on a vacation, like you gotta plan your work and work your plan. That way you're able to celebrate when you do have successes behind the chair. It's like what you, what do they say? What you pay attention to grows. You know what I mean? I have all these like sayings that I don't have down all of it, but you all know what I'm trying to say. So really getting this matte control cream everywhere in Bex's hair, not just on the top, we want it to be everywhere because there's still some texture here along the side that we want to show off. So putting in this matte control cream, it's very, very flexible. So you'll be able to still run your hands through it, but still be able to get a lot of control. So if you wanted to run your fingers through it, you could, and if you want it to just stay, it will stay. So that's the beauty of that product. I really like it. So I'm excited for you guys to win it, but also to join us in being able to, share the stuff with our guests. So every bottle that we sell supports the salon directly, and our stylists and our artists helps the guests get a quality product that they need no matter what. And Wahl is giving back, you guys. Every product that they sell, they're offering some of the money to the Fade It Forward program. So they're helping underserved kids get their barber's license. Like, I would call that the triple win. It's a win for the shop, it's a win for the stylist, it's a win for my guests, and it's a win for the future of our industry. So, that's totally something I can get on board with. So super stoked to be a part of the Wahl 1919 team. and looking forward to having you guys on board as well. And don't forget, what are they? Retail, rebook, referral, review. These guys are clapping. You guys excited? You guys have a successful holiday season. Booksy, thank you for having us and supporting our industry as well as you do. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jamie, for a wonderful class, and make sure everybody else to take advantage of the giveaways. So take a screenshot or photo of the demo with Jamie and share that photo on our IG, which is at BooksyBiz, and also Jamie's, which is Jamie DiGrazia. And thank you again, Jamie. You're awesome. And thank you, everyone else, and continue supporting small businesses. They're the backbone of our community. So thanks so much.
Good luck, you guys. Have a successful holiday season.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye. Actually, you look good. Let me clean you up.